Good evening. Thank you for joining me, Dorothea, on It's Through an Orthodox Christian Lens. It is late in this evening, 10 o'clock right now. I just wanted to jump on and discuss a little bit about the interview with Kash Patel and Dan Bongino that was done by Fox's Maria Bartiromo, I guess is how you say her name. I was not impressed with what they said about Epstein or what they said about the Trump assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania. They both said that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself, committed suicide, when there was a lot of evidence that showed that he did not, because of the neck area that was broken, certain areas in there that didn't make sense. But my main problem was that everybody knows that he did not commit suicide. It was pretty obvious. But then they went ahead and said, oh yes, we saw the files, so he definitely committed suicide. Well, what does that mean? They saw the files. Okay, the file there said that because that's what they wanted it to say. So for them to get away with a quote-unquote, a lie, they said, well, that's what the file said. So then they are not responsible for a outright lie, in my opinion. It's a convenient way of dismissing the case by just saying that. Oh, it's that the file says. This tells me that the only reason they would be lying about this is that I really believe that there's a few reasons. Obviously, our intel on Mossad, or those kind of things, were involved, and it's the same with Pam Bondi. We can't put this out. So either they are extreme followers of the Israelis and their agenda, or they're they're Zionists themselves, so much so that they would rather allow this terrible crime against children to never be, nobody's going to be held accountable. Or it could be they've been threatened. And I don't mean they as in Kash and Dan. I mean like their family members have been, they tell them, oh, well, something will happen to your family members. I know this sounds like some kind of conspiracy theory, some kind of weird, I'm talking out of like a movie. It can't possibly be that. I'm just making up these things. It's just ideas that have come into my head. Doesn't, obviously I have no proof of this, and we'll never know. Apparently, it's okay to continue to have this terrible pedophile ring, to continue this big web of pedophiles, to just continue to be out loose, ruining and destroying children's lives. Horrific things done to them. It's terrible. You wonder when anything's going to change in this world. And we all know that everything is coming out. The prophecies by St. Joseph, or Elder Joseph, the disciple of St. Joseph the Hesychast, said, the dark underbelly of bad things was going to come out. And he had mentioned pornography and dark things, and that he did say that those that have been behind the scenes doing these dark things would be exposed. Well, I'm not sure we actually saw that. Yes, Prince Andrew was involved, and Bill Clinton. But in any case, the victims are still being killed, in my opinion. I don't believe that woman, Virginia, that died a few weeks back had committed suicide either. She said that she is not suicidal in one of her earlier posts before this. In any case, we have Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, and Pam Bondi that will not come forward on this, and it's very disturbing. I had faith in Kash Patel. I had faith that I thought, okay, Pam Bondi's a straight shooter. She's going to do this. No, I've been disappointed with her since this whole Epstein thing came out. I haven't voiced it really that much with you all. But I'm telling you now, I have no real faith. And I shouldn't have put my faith in them. I should have known better. I just don't. I'm very disappointed in all of them. I really don't know much about Dan Bongino, but I really mostly believed Kash Patel, and no, not anymore. I will say in this particular thing that what Bannon's war room said, that'd be Steve Bannon, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino's body, he says on here, Alex Jones, obviously Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. Kash Patel and Dan Bongino's body language in that interview looks like a hostage video. Yeah, I think so too. And so, not feeling it for these three, especially. And, well, let me see if I can play this. I haven't listened to it. I'm just curious to see what Alex Jones has to say.
I really like Kash Patel, but recent statements give that, Jeffrey Epstein killed himself when it would take an hour to go over the evidence. Obviously, he didn't. It's ridiculous. Neck broken 3 times. That's the coroner. And all the rest of it, cameras turned off, on and on and on. And then to add insult to injury, we've seen all the evidence from Butler and Crookes, and it's open and shut. Nothing else happened here. Bare minimum Secret Service stand down. The FBI trying to cover up the investigation.
And that is the other part I wanted to bring up, and I'm glad he reminded me of this, is their view, as he just said, on the Butler assassination attempt of that Crookes, that kid did. The fact that they said that he acted alone is just the most ridiculous thing. It's so obvious that he was a patsy. It was so obvious that he had handlers. His phone had all these messages, I'm sure, on it. He kept looking at it, but nobody ever searched his phone. And the fact that they were washing down the crime scene, quote unquote, the crime scene on the roof, less than 24 hours, I think. And then they cremated his body? No. There's too many problems there. I'm not quite sure why President Trump wouldn't speak up about this, other than perhaps I don't know. I just find it very odd that he wouldn't be more like, oh, come on, there has to be more to this, unless there's a real danger to his life. I don't know. Nobody's going to know because, again, it's going to be one of those things like, the JFK files, which everybody's saying they still didn't have all of it. Somebody was saying they still didn't have all of them out. So it's going to be probably decades and decades before we find anything out about that assassination, the real story behind that in Butler, PA, assassination attempt. And the Epstein one, the Epstein issue. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you this evening. It's late. I'm tired. But I just felt I should put that out there. So you knew where I stood on all of this. You knew where I stood on these people in Trump's administration. What are your thoughts on it? What do you think happened with the Epstein? Do you think Epstein killed himself, or do you think somebody killed him? Or do you think he's still alive? Some people actually think he's still alive, that he never died. Who knows? And what your thoughts are on Cash, Patel, Dan Bongino, and Pam Bondi. Do you think they're doing a good job? Maybe they are on certain things. I don't know. But what are your thoughts on this? And also, the assassination attempt by Crookes in Butler, PA. What are your thoughts on that as well? Please leave your comments if you have any. Please follow my channel. Like my videos if you like them. Share my channel, share my videos. Follow me on Rumble. And subscribe on my YouTube channel. Thanks so much for all your support and for watching. Until next time, I hope you have a wonderful night.